Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Ollie. I'm a junior doctor living and working in England as part of the NHS. Today I'm going to be talking about the strikes, as I have been talking about for a while, but we're going to get to the bottom of what the junior doctors actually want, what junior doctors like me actually want. And the reason why I want to make this video is that we're still seeing an awful lot of misunderstanding, miscommunication in the press, in the media, in even some cases official communications, getting to the bottom of the dispute between junior doctors in England, the NHS, their ultimate employer, and Steve Barclay, the Secretary of State for Health and Social Care. And the central defining ask here for junior doctors is full pay restoration, right? It's not a pay rise, it's pay restoration. Why this particular term? Why are we using this particular language? Why are we not saying we want a 20% pay rise, we want a 30% pay rise, we want a 50% pay rise, whatever? Why are we saying we want full pay restoration? The reason why these terms are so important is that full pay restoration represents the undoing of the losses in pay that doctors have seen, junior doctors in this case, due to inflation since 2008. And junior doctors' wages in England have dropped by 26.1% in that time. And so what do you actually do about that? What's the solution? How do you fix it? If you want to undo a 26.1% pay loss, could you, for example, give everyone a 26.1% pay rise? And that sounds intuitively like it would be pretty sensible, right? You've lost 26.1%, we'll simply put 26.1% back, and then everyone will be back to zero and everyone will be happy. Instinctively, intuitively, that sounds like it would work. But when you start to examine the numbers and the figures involved, it doesn't. So let's take a look at why. Let's say that you are paid a wage of £4 per year. Okay? We've got your £4. We're then going to cut your wages by 25%. Okay? So multiply that by 0.75, which gives us 3. So you're now paid £3 a year after having your pay cut by 25%. And you go to your boss or the government or whoever and you say, well, that's not fair. I want to be paid the same as I was before because I'm doing the same work. They go, all right, fine. We took away 25%. Let's increase your pay by 25%. So now we'll do our 3 times 1.25. Okay. An extra 25% on top of the 3 that we have, which gives us 3.75. And you look at that and go, well, that's not quite enough, actually. That's not as much as I was paid before. So the question really here is, by what do you have to multiply 3 to get you back to the original 4 that you had? And in this case, that answer is 1.33. You actually need 133% of what you have, or a 33% pay rise, to get back the 25% of your original salary that you lost. Okay, so that's that one out of the way. Let's give ourselves another scenario. And in this second scenario, your wage is now £100 per year. Okay, I'm just keeping the numbers nice and big and round so it's easy to illustrate the maths that's going on. But let's say you're paid £100 a year and you're now going to lose 26.1% of your salary, the same amount that junior doctors have lost. So we're going to start with our 100, number of pounds that were paid. We're going to multiply that by 0.739, the decimalised version of the difference between 26.1 and 100, which means that we're taking 26.1% away, leaving ourselves with 73.9%. And that, as you might be able to work out from the maths, is going to leave us with £73.90. And the junior doctors get a bit annoyed and go back to the government and say, no, government, we're actually still working very hard and we're doing the same job as we always did, but now we're only paid £73.90. And the government, because they're a good government and we like them, turn around and say, don't worry, doctors, we got you, you're working very hard. We're a nice, caring government, we care about our workforce and the health of the nation, we'll fix it for you. So now the question here becomes, well, we've got our £73.90, times by what, to get us back to the 100 that we had before. And we have a fairly simple bit of maths here, which is that if 73.9 times something, this quantity we'll call x, is 100, and therefore that simply means that we can divide both sides by x to work out what our missing quantity is. And as you might have seen in the news, this value for x is 1.353, and the 353 there, 35.3% pay restoration to get us back to where we started. So what does this mean? What does any of this mean in the real world for our real world junior doctors like me? Well, a new junior doctor, that is an FY1 Foundation Year 1 doctor, fresh out of medical school, first year of practice, starts on £29,384, and all of the pay figures that I'm going to give in this video can be found on the BMA's public pay scales website. All of this is freely available. People often have a hard time believing exactly what doctors are paid for whatever reason. It's all publicly available information linked in the description. So £29,384 for a brand new doctor in their 40-hour adjusted working week. Doing some very quick napkin maths, 29,384 divided by 2,080, the number of working hours in a year, that's 40 hours a week times 52 weeks a year. But that comes out at £14.12 an hour, just over 14 quid an hour for your first year junior doctor. Multiply that figure by the 1.353 or the 35.3% pay restoration that we would need. That takes them to just over £19 an hour. And so think about that. Our brand new doctor, fresh out of medical school in their first year of practice, but doing very difficult work, will be working nights, weekends, making very difficult decisions, will be the first person to see you on call when you're unwell, takes them from 14 quid an hour just over 19 quid an hour. At the other end of the scale, the most senior junior doctors that exist, the ST8 specialty registrars, these are people at the very far other end of the pathway about to become consultants. Forgive me because I've got the figure in front of me, but that ST8 trainee is going to be on £58,398 for their 40-hour working week, or £28.07 per hour by my very rough calculation. Now these are extremely highly skilled people with at least a decade of postgraduate training. That's not including medical school. That is training and experience as a working doctor. And these people are going to be the ones removing your brain tumour in the middle of the night, or decompressing your skull, or saving your life and your baby's life in gynecology. Full pay restoration for them would mean going from £28 an hour that they would normally earn to £38 an hour. And this is the thing that I think is getting lost in a lot of the dialogue here, particularly in the media and the way that the government is reporting things. Pay restoration, 35.3%, that sounds like a lot. It sounds like a massive number. And the reason that that number is reported is because it sounds big and shocking. But when you look at what we're actually asking for your new doctor to go from £14 an hour, just over, to £19 an hour, just over, or your very, very senior registrar about to become a consultant going from £28 an hour to £38 an hour, that doesn't actually sound that unreasonable. I would wager that to very many people, that actually doesn't sound very unreasonable at all. And just to leave you with something to think about, you may think that 35% is objectionable. And, you know, that's okay, people can think whatever they want. But if you think that that genuinely does sound like too big a number for the system to afford or to even entertain the idea of, remember that it's only that big, 35%, because that's what it takes to undo the amount that's been taken away. And I would hope that if you think that 35% is objectionable to give us, you would also think that it's objectionable to take 26% away. And that's not even a pay rise. That is bringing us back to the baseline of what we had before the profession started seeing below inflation pay rises, pay cuts in real terms, year after year after year after year. This is a political choice that this has been allowed to happen. Has the BMA not been militant enough and stood by and watched while this has happened? Sure. Arguably it has. And doctors themselves have a lot to answer for in not standing up for themselves and letting their pain conditions get worse and worse and lose control of training and everything else that's going wrong in the profession. Doctors are themselves as much to blame for that as any government that would oversee them. But basically, this has been coming for a long time. I hope that going through some of these examples has cleared things up. I'm going to talk in another video about what exactly a junior doctor is, because again, not captured very well, but I hope it helps. Thank you very much, take care, and I'll see you next time.